I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Ketty, and we are the Lotus in Life. So today we're going to be talking about the mentor and disciple relationship, or the oneness of mentor and disciple. So we chose this topic because I'm on my journey of trying to figure out what a mentor means to me, and I'd like to get Sam's help. So Sam, why don't you just explain a little bit about that for me?
Okay, well, I'll explain it by actually reading from the session, which is actually session 1, which is the spirit of oneness of mentor and disciple, which comes from Indigo April 2010. So we'll start with the nourishing earth of the oneness of mentor and disciple. The essence of Buddhism is found in the spirit of striving with the same commitment as the mentor, which is a quote from Daisaku Ikeda. This brief yet profound statement from President Ikeda seems to capture the heart of the principle of oneness of mentor and disciple in Buddhism. Disciples, based on their shared bond of mission with their mentor, striving to live their lives with the same commitment, a commitment to the happiness of all humanity. Striving to understand the heart and vision of the mentor and live a creative life based on this, we are able to expand our own life state immensely, developing a sense of confidence that we would not have previously thought possible. So it comes to my mind here, Ketty, at this particular point, that if we have a compass, in other words, a direction to move our life in faith, that direction would have to be the guidance of our mentor, which in this case is Daisaku Ikeda.
Okay.
And as we're going to find out as this program progresses, that Daisaku Ikeda was a disciple of Jose Toda before he became our mentor. And Jose Toda was a disciple of Tsuneburo Makiguchi. Makiguchi was a disciple of Nichiren Dishonin himself, because that was the only reference that he had.
Yeah.
So we see that the connection, the oneness of mentor and disciple, it's one and the same thing. And it'll be revealed later that the mentor's greatest wish is that the disciple actually overtakes the mentor. So just to carry on, striving to understand the heart and vision of the mentor and live a creative life based on this, we are able to expand our own life state immensely, developing a sense of confidence that we would not have previously thought possible. I know I read that before, but I just wanted to reinforce it. So what do you think of that, Ketty?
Well, it's funny because today was the first day that I actually sort of used something from Daisaku Ikeda in like my life. Like I quoted him when having a conversation, and I was like, wow, I'm getting close. Where I was talking to my boyfriend and I was saying that there was a quote from Faith into Action where Daisaku Ikeda says that like, rather than like focusing on your partner, you should take the best traits of them and aspire to have them yourself. And that that was really nice because it helped me see sort of what I should be striving for, rather than being jealous of these traits or having negative feelings. That it's like I should appreciate them and strive them for myself. So I can see that it's like I'll see the quote. Yeah, that the vision of the mentor can help you guide like your life and where you go. I do think that because I don't have that strong connection yet, sometimes I do feel a bit lost about, okay, I have a purpose or what I want to do, but I don't feel it. I don't have that compass direction, and that's what I'm seeking.
Great. So I'll continue reading from this piece about mentor and disciple. So in practice, developing this living understanding of the oneness of mentor and disciple can be quite challenging. It challenges to overcome the impulses that erode our connection with others while building on the common desire for happiness. Overcoming our fears to trust a mentor is key to unlocking our ability to trust ourselves and to trust those around us. And it's not a passive trust based on expectations of others, but a trust born of our own determination to believe in others. The mentor and disciple relationship in Buddhism is not based on followers passively worshipping, passively worshipping or following the mentor, or a mentor choosing worthy followers to be disciples. The relationship is based on an honest acknowledgement of the mentor's living inspiration and the mentor's desire for disciples to, and here's another quote from Daisaku Ikeda, achieve the same life state as they. No, they wish to foster disciples who will be even better people than they are. So, end of quote. Importantly, in this regard, it is the disciple who chooses the mentor. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very interesting.
Yeah, because when we started to practice this, we actually chose Daisaku Ikeda as our mentor. Determined to stand up together with the mentor based on a shared sense of responsibility for the happiness of humankind. This dynamic relationship manifests itself in a finely tuned balance between independence and dependence, inspiring us to fully develop our own unique life expression while honestly seeking inspiration and vision from the mentor. In other aspects of our shared humanity we are able to open up in our lives through the mentor and disciple relationship is our capacity to express appreciation and gratitude. And I think you might agree here that gratitude and appreciation is key for in our growth. If we can appreciate everything we have around us, it really gives us a good chance to grow.
Yeah, I definitely need to work on that more. Sometimes it's very easy to forget what we have.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, this can be very challenging for those of us who, for example, have endured emotionally damaging relationships. However, challenging this to sincerely express appreciation and gratitude for the potential of life, and to the mentor whose actions and encouragement allow us to realize this, unlocks enormous potential from the depths of our heart and allows us to further appreciate those around us, even those we may have previously resented. So, challenging our own human revolution is therefore key to living the relationship of a oneness of mentor and disciple. And yeah, we talked quite a lot about the human revolution in our last talk, actually, in our last series.
Yeah, about the Kozen Rufu. Yeah, because it's very central to that is what I'm coming to realize, that human revolution is what drives our practice, because it helps improve us so we can help improve others in the world around us and have a direction. So it means that it's not a passive practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
it's lovely how you said before, Ketty, that you actually found something from Daisaku Ikeda to encourage yourself and your friend with. That's key, actually. And it's not passive. We're constantly, I know myself, if I'm in a deadlock with somebody or some situation, I will search Sensei's guidance and find something that will help me get through it. And actively look for something. So.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how I know he's my mentor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm definitely trying to look into that more. So continuing the article from Indigo, the driving force underlying the dynamic relationship of mentor and disciple is the vow or commitment to Kozen Rufu, which is what we covered last time, to the happiness of humanity. This resolve is based on a belief in the unlimited potential of all human beings, no matter what their current circumstances. It is a sense of purpose linking our life with our mentor and the rest of humanity. It is a vow shared by mentor and disciple that can sustain the Kozen Rufu movement and our individual struggles to pursue our human revolution, the battle to win over our fundamental darkness. The three presidents of the Soka Gakkai revived the relationship of oneness of mentor and disciple as the heart of the Buddhist practice, based on their unwavering vow for the realization of Kozen Rufu, a vow shared with Nichiren Dishonin. Their deep relationships have brilliantly portrayed the power of oneness of mentor and disciple, evident in the profound trust they held for each other, the strong desire of mentor to foster the disciple, and the mentor's determination to fulfill the mentor's vision out of a deep sense of gratitude.
There's that word again.
Gratitude, definitely.
Yep, absolutely. So that brings us to the end of the first session.
Yeah.
So there's actually 4 sessions in this series. So now we're up to session 2. So we're just doing this one is session 1 and session 2 of Oneness of Mentor and Disciple. And next time when we do our video, it'll be sessions 3 and 4. So just to continue, Soka Gakkai, and this is now about the first president of the organization. Soka Gakkai, founding president, Tsunaburo Makiguchi, first started practicing Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism at the age of 57. Isn't that amazing? That's when he started. He thus declared, "With an indescribable joy, I completely changed the way I had lived for almost 60 years. Wow. Given his staunch commitment to humanistic principles and to fostering the potential of others, it is not surprising that Makiguchi experienced indescribable joy on embracing the teachings of Nichiren Daishonin. It was as if all the struggles he had endured during his life took on a new meaning, became the fertile soil from which his true potential could blossom." Just reminds you of the lotus, doesn't it, growing out of the mud swamp. Without the mud swamp, that lotus will not grow. Yeah. So Makiguchi related that the very real internal transformation that occurred in his life when he stated, and here's a quote from Tsunaburo Makiguchi, "The sense of unease, of groping my way in the dark, was entirely dissipated. My lifelong tendency to withdraw into thought disappeared. My sense of purpose in life steadily expanded in scope and ambition." You know, this is generations ago, but doesn't this so much relate to today, to us? Yeah. "And I was freed from all fears. I became possessed with the irresistible and bold desire to effect the reform of national education with as much haste as was humanly possible." Shortly after Makiguchi took up faith, Jose Toda, a young teacher working under Makiguchi, also began practicing Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism. Toda later stated, "Our relationship was one of mentor and disciple, or like parent and child. It is impossible to fathom the depth of the bond I shared with Mr. Makiguchi. I knew his real state of life. No one else did. I used to tell others that they would one day boast of knowing Mr. Makiguchi, and as I predicted, meeting him is today the pride of all of his disciples." So again, I think, Kelly, that relates to us having the pride of all of Daisaku Ikeida's disciples. We can have that pride of knowing Daisaku Ikeida in this lifetime. We can't mix with him, we can't hang out with him, can't be with Daisaku Ikeida physically, but we can certainly, through his writing and his dialogues, experience his spirit. And I think as a disciple of Daisaku Ikeida, I would like to, as much as it's humanly possible for myself, I would like to emulate Daisaku Ikeida's vision for Kozen Rufu.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I can see that by embodying their vision, we become the best person that we can be, and it helps sort of provide guidance or direction to our life or where we're going. I can definitely see that.
Absolutely. Yep. So their relationship became a model of enacting the oneness of mentor and disciple in modern times. On the important aspect of trust, Makiguchi once stated, and here's a quote, "If you are unable to trust others and cannot gain their trust, your life is like that of a large tree alone in a field, isolated and unaided. You are vulnerable to being knocked down by the next great storm. This is the most insecure way of life imaginable." Out of gratitude to his mentor and the wholehearted belief in his humanistic approach to education, Toda worked to compile Makiguchi's numerous notes on educational theory into a publication, The System of Value-Creating Pedagogy. This work outlined Makiguchi's ideas on how education should serve to allow people to create value, which is happiness, from whatever difficulties they faced in their lives. This publication, funded by Mr. Toda, marked the formalization of the title Soka, which is value creation, and the date of its publishing, 18th of November 1930, is commemorated as the founding date of the Soka Gakkai. Significant.
Yeah. So the formation of, at this time, of the Soka Hyoki Gakkai, the Value Creation Education Society, later to become the Soka Gakkai, marked the beginning of the global lay movement of Nichiren Dishonin's Buddhism that we all benefit from today. Significantly, the activities of this organization were centered on small group discussion meetings open to all people at members' homes. At these meetings, participants could openly discuss their struggles and determinations related to education and life through the lens of Buddhist philosophy. Mr. Makiguchi was convinced of the importance of basing the humanistic movement of the Soka Gakkai on these small group dialogue meetings. President Keita says, Makiguchi replied, "Dialogue is the only way to communicate with one another about life's problems. At a lecture, listeners inevitably feel uninvolved. Even the Daishonin's treatise on establishing the correct teaching for the peace of the land was written in a dialogue, you know." Makiguchi's commitment to the creation of value, no matter what the circumstances, underlined his understanding of Nichiren Buddhism as an active practice, like what we said before.
Yep.
One that we must actually transform our life and environment from within. In other words, reveal actual proof. Furthermore, he often declared the principle that failing to do good, make good causes, is no different from directly doing evil, making bad causes. Makiguchi and the movement's commitment to these humanistic principles was seriously tested in the early 1940s as the military government in Japan imposed demands that all religions adopt the talisman of the state-sanctioned Shinto religion based on the cult-like worship on an emperor. Makiguchi and Toda did not yield. On July the 6th, 1943, Makiguchi and Toda, along with 19 other leaders of the organization, were arrested and jailed, and under a law that showed that they were guilty for disrespecting the emperor. And under a lot of interrogation, most of the leaders abandoned their faith in order to be released, but only Josei Toda and Makiguchi remained steadfast, continuing to practice their beliefs and encouraging others from the prison cell. Under these demanding conditions, the relationship of oneness and mentor and disciple, exemplified by Makiguchi and Toda, showed brilliant proof of victory. Toda alone understood the spirit of Makiguchi and without hesitation stood up beside his mentor, resisting the enormous pressure to divide and break. On the 18th of November 1944, after enduring months of harsh conditions, Makiguchi died in prison. Toda survived his sentence, emerging 1945 in July, racked with illness but with an unshakable determination to rebuild Soka Gakkai, prove the greatness of his mentor Makiguchi, and transform the destiny of humanity. And this is what our society has become today. So it's pretty amazing. I didn't realize this until we started reading this, all the rich history behind how we came to be and how, like, it didn't even occur to me that we would have to fight for this Buddhism when it was so peaceful. It was crazy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I can see that when you believe, like I'm starting to understand that with the mentor and disciple relationship, it's like you're standing up there, standing up for our Buddhism, putting out actual proof, and standing next to each other, unbreakable.
Yeah. And peace can only be achieved, our type of peace in the Soka Gakkai practice can only be achieved with dynamic action. So fortunate, wasn't he, Jose Toda, to have been so close to Makiguchi and to have learned from him every day. And of course they learned from each other. Makiguchi was Jose Toda's mentor. And Jose Toda was so affected by Makiguchi that, very, very tragically, Makiguchi died in prison. Jose Toda left the prison, and instead of being squashed by this incredible experience of losing his mentor, of course it was a tragedy, he would have been devastated by it, but he came out of that prison with a resolve, a burning desire to create Kozen Rufu with this practice. It sends shivers when I think about this, but we, as I said before, we can't be physically with Daisaku Ikeda, but we could certainly be physically with his teachings.
Definitely.
And he can be he is our great example, I think. Yeah. So that concludes the first part of mentor disciple. And next time we do this part of the series will be sessions 3 and 4. So please stay tuned. It's gonna be a great ride.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. I definitely learnt a lot, and I'm very grateful.
I learned a lot too, and I'm very grateful. So thank you, Kenny.
Thank you, Sam.
So, I'm Sam.
I'm Kenny, and we are the Lotus in Life. Bye.
See ya.